wanna get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky! What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rojan Kim.
Hello, and welcome to the Rojan Kim cast. It's me, Rojan Kim. Thank you so much for joining me at the end of the year of 2020. Huh? What a year. What a year, guys. What a year. And this is episode 220, which is, it's not the same number as 2020, but it's close. If I threw a zero in there, if there were 1800 more episodes, it would be 2020. But anyways, it's close enough. 220, 2020, 2020 vision. What a year, huh? Who would have thought that we'd be here in the middle of a pandemic, right? In the middle of a lockdown because of said pandemic, in the middle of possibly a contested election, in the middle of really God knows what. We don't know. UFOs. That's actually not even, if you've been following the news, that's old news. People didn't care. There was a goddamn bombing in Memphis. Okay, a major city in the United States experienced a terror attack, a huge bombing, and, that was on Christmas. And no one really, I don't know. People were just like, meh. They were just like, meh. 2020. People are just like tired. They're like, this year sucked. This year was so bad, right? And I suppose, yeah, it probably did. For a lot of people. Probably is great for other people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, fucking big years for them. Huge. Probably Xi Jinping. I don't know. I'm guessing. Well, Gavin Newsom. What a year. What a year for all these people, right? I think, I don't know. Well, anyways, before I start this episode, I wanted to thank my cousin Han Kim, for making a generous contribution to the Rojan Kim cast, and really the only person who's ever made a contribution, but it's a great start, so I wanted to thank him very much for the contribution, and also to let him know that it has all been lost in the stock market. It's gone now. It's all gone, unfortunately. Remember that South Park episode where he's like, and it's gone. That's what happened. Wait, what? Just got it back. I just got it back. All right. Well, never mind. Just got it back. And I just made I've got $10,000 now. $10,000. It's gone now. All right. Anyways, then that's the market. It just goes up and it goes down. That's the thing about the crazy market. Anyways, thank you so much, Han Kim, for his generous contribution to the Rojan Kim cast. I think there's exciting things happening with the podcast and just with me in general, mostly in my mind. It's very exciting. I have some plans and things I want to try for the new year. Definitely want to try to get more video content out and have more of a video. Did you know I went to film school? I went to film school. I know how to make films. It's just very labor intensive. It takes money, but I got some money that I can use now, and so I'm gonna, and I've made some friends along the way. I think for me, 2020, the thing about, maybe the thing about 2020 was really the friends we made along the way. That's what I feel. 2020 was a year of friends I made along the way. In the middle of a authoritarian lockdown. California, LA, they just shut everything down. Everything's been shut down. At the same time, everything has not. Like, I went to the Grove on a couple days ago, and to Costco yesterday. It's packed with people, teeming people. So it's like a lockdown, but only for small businesses, I guess. If you have a giant business, it's cool, man. If you have a giant retail business, it's the virus knows better. The virus doesn't spread in giant retail stores. It virus prefers mom and pops. It kills mom and pops, figuratively and literally. Ha ha. That was year of 2020. Getting that joke. Yeah. 2020. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's a what? Okay. Everybody, every podcast, every media, whatever. Everybody, we do a 2020 year in review. There's a part of me that's perhaps it's the cynic, right? The cynic that says a year. This whole thing is a Gregorian calendar. It's Pope Gregory, just some guy created a calendar, and we're all arbitrarily saying that this is the year, the end of one year versus another. I mean, what, and I guess on that line of reasoning, no time has any meaning at all, so why celebrate any of it? Kind of like being a Jehovah's Witness, right? It's like, there is no significance of any of this beyond praising God or whatever, right? And I suppose if you're a nihilist, you'd be like, what's the point of any of it? You just live, and then you die. That's it. Not that there's no judgment in there. That's just the fact. The fact is you live and you die. Everything else we just kind of make up, right? Made up stuff. But there's a part of me that's also an optimist, right? The optimist is like, you know what? It's important for people because it's like cyclical. Everything is cyclical. Sure, it's arbitrary, but we do go around the sun. We go around the sun. We rotate. There's a cycle. We're all based on this planet. We're on this planet. It's got a cycle. It's going around the sun. Whether it's a simulation or real, whatever, there's a cycle. Okay? There's the, what you call it? It's like, oh, God damn it. What is it called when you fucking, you go by the sun? You go by the sun, right? Like you go, I can't think of the word. Hopefully I'll use the generous donation from Han to get a thesaurus so that I could look up stuff while I'm fumbling around circadian rhythm. There we go. That was bothering me. Circadian rhythm. Like they're finding out that people should eat based on a circadian rhythm. When the sun goes up and the sun goes down, it kind of makes sense that we all evolved in this way. And you got your nocturnal animals and you got your diurnal animals, and they all evolved in a way based on how the sun moves in the season, where they are geographically. It all makes sense. Okay. However, we sort of don't care as human beings. What we've decided to do is like say fuck the sun and the earth and God and everything. We don't give a fuck. How about that? Because we can do it. Whatever we can do, we're going to do. So it's the story of Tower of Babel, right? There's the story of the Tower of Babel in the Bible. I'm not sure when it takes. It's definitely after the Garden of Eden. There was a bunch of people. Is it before? It's got to be before. No, yeah. Well, it explains how languages were formed. So it's got to be before. Everybody spoke one language, built a giant tower, got scattered by God because they dared to touch the sky, scattered the people all over the world, and said you're going to have different languages as punishment, and now you can't understand each other. Now, of course, because of the internet or whatever, we have created a new Tower of Babel. The markets, central banks, everything centralizing, giant system, right? It's a giant tower. We're trying to be God. And will it be destined to fall? Will there be a great crash? Will there be a great crash and a scattering? Right? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just the cycle. This cycle of human history. Perhaps the cycle of history. I don't know. Got off on a tangent there. I was actually just going to talk about what kind of a crazy year 2020 is. But instead I ended up talking about that. But that's just that's what you get on the Rojan Kimcast, okay? That's the kind of unfiltered Rojan Kim casting you get on this podcast, okay? And that's what your generous contribution has gone toward. My ramblings about what the fuck was I even talking about? The nature of time? Nature of time, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was just went off on a tangent about how it's silly that people think about, some part of me says it's silly that people look back on 2020 and go, ooh, what a year. And then another part of me is like, I get it though, because of the circadian rhythm, the cycle of things. Okay, and here we are. It's good I don't have kids because I probably torture them with this. Instead, you know what I mean? Instead, I'm torturing the 20 people who listen to I'm torturing my cousin Han, or he gets great delight out of this, I guess. It must be, he's encouraging me for some reason. He's giving me just enough, the encouragement I need to keep this up. So I'm just going to keep doing it until the money's gone. Han, okay? And it's gone. Well, it's gone now. I lost all my money in the stock market. The market crashed. What? Wait. Nope, it's coming back. And that is of course, that's how it goes in the market, you know. It goes up, it goes down. Sometimes it goes side to side. Sometimes it goes side to side. Then it's like, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? That's what everybody you pull out the charts. You look at the order book. Yeah, the flow, the volume, the flows. You look at all these, you look at the indicators, right? Look at the moving averages. There's a lot of things going on. And you look at the stuff and then you go, I think it's going up, you know? And then there you go. That's the market, you know? And, that was a big part of this year. It's crazy at the beginning of the year was, I feel like the first thing I remember about the year is Parasite winning. Because of my incredible nationalistic pride. No, I mean, it was, listen, won Best Picture? Yeah, it won Best Picture, Korean movie. So that's cool. I feel a sense of ethnic pride about that. I also like the movie. It was a good movie. Fucking Bong Joon-ho, great director. Always been following his career, since Memories of Murder, which is another great movie. But I loved all his movies. I hope to God, no, that's him. And Song Kang-ho, who's the leader dad guy, the dad lead in the movie, I've been following for a long time too. He's great, great comic actor, character actor. Kind of plays like the same guy. He's great. He's awesome. But anyways, Parasite. I liked it. I thought it was great. It was like a darkly. It's a tragic comedy about class, just class relations, and just this idea of swindling your way into this rich family's life, and just kind of feeding off of them, like a parasite, and I don't know. I mean, I guess that I think it's a well-made movie. Story is a good script, but I do think about why it resonated so much with people. What was it that resonated with the Academy? The Academy, which is a bunch of rich people. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of rich people who, is it like, some concern over class warfare, some kind of concern over the disparity of wealth that's been growing and growing. Is that, the anxieties of the ruling class. You know what I'm saying? Is that sort of like, wow, did it really speak to them for that reason? Isn't it interesting? I remember somebody tweeting like, kudos to the Academy for picking an Asian movie called Parasite when people are getting worried about an Asian flu or an Asian respiratory disease, fucking coronavirus. Because back then, coronavirus was just coming out of China, straight out of China. Like, it was coming, I think there was like news stories. Yeah, December was when that whistleblower dude ended up dying because I just saw the thing about how it was a year ago. Yeah, so the whistleblower guy, they stopped him and then he died of it, and then people were dying, and then everyone was like, and people were starting to freak out, but no one really knew what to make of it. That's when I started listening to the Steve Bannon podcast, Pandemic, where he was talking about this stuff, and he was saying it's coming. Okay. So I remember thinking, okay, that's funny. I remember thinking like, my joke was that Bong Joon-ho was just like, thank you. I just want everybody to know that we are not Chinese. I just want that was like what he wanted everybody to know. He wanted everybody to know that we're not Chinese, guys. They started it. Just so you all know. Okay, we're out, right? And then in the beginning of the pandemic was like it was spreading through Asia, right? South Korea got it and they supposedly crushed it. Japan got it. They didn't lock down, and everybody's like, why aren't you locking down? You know, because China, what it did was lock down brutally, and they crushed the virus. And then South Korea kind of locked down, but didn't lock down. But they started doing this contact tracing thing. They started doing basically just going all in. It's a surveillance state, right? Doing contact tracing, right? Doing what are they? Just mass testing, lots of testing. Just is like a sort of a data-driven thing, and very useful if you wanted to start collecting biometric data on people. You know, just a convenient time to do that as well. Not saying that's why they did it. I'm just saying it would be a wasted opportunity to not take the data, right? Going around taking everyone's DNA and doing swabs on everybody, or again, taking everybody, linking those swabs to your phones, linking that to your location, and so on and so forth. Why not? Meanwhile, Japan decided not to lock down. They decided to protect the elderly. They have one of the largest elderly populations in Asia, in the world, one of the largest. And they masked, they had the masking. They had their own way of doing stuff. And everybody who said Japan's gonna be done, they're fine. Everybody pointed to Asia as like, this is how we got to do it. This is how we got to do it. And so that's what we did. We did it. And isn't it crazy? I always think like, so we get into this year through the impeachment. The first month of the year, it was like you got Parasite and then you got impeachment. And they're fucking trying to vote. Everybody knew this thing was dead in the water. Everybody knew the impeachment itself was just bullshit. It's just like the CIA whistleblowing against itself, or you know what I mean? It just didn't make any sense. There's still, somehow they've made it so you can't even say the dude's name without getting flagged. That's how crazy it is, where we know Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange. These are all people who have suffered in jail or are suffering in jail, maybe going to die in jail or in exile, or been ostracized, whatever, And I feel like that's what happens to whistleblowers. You know what I mean? That's what happens to them, not getting your name protected, like getting so protected by everybody, the entire establishment, that you can't even say the guy's name. Anyways, nothing really came of that, right? Everybody knew he was dead in the water because everybody knew that it was going to be voted on partisan lines, and that really overall it was just like, what are they saying? That he basically was like, hey, Ukraine, I will not send you these missiles unless you say you're going to investigate the Biden family's corrupt dealings in your country. And then they said, see, this is him trying to influence the election. Okay. And then cut to the election when Hunter Biden's laptop comes out, and then it is revealed he did have shady dealings in Ukraine. But of course, the media decided to say that, no, this is all Russian disinformation. None of this is real, even though he is being investigated by the FBI. I mean, he is actually being investigated. It came out that Hunter Biden is actually being investigated, and the laptop, of course, was none of the contents were ever denied. Nobody said shit about it. They could have just came out and said, it's not, they just said the Russians, but they never contested. Anyways, how is that not influencing the election? Isn't that funny? They went after this dude for saying that he did try to do a dirty deal in Ukraine and was trying to influence the election. And in the end, it was the Biden family was doing dirty dealings in Ukraine, and the media was the one who was influencing the election. That's just one of those things. You are what you accuse others of. That whole thing. What am I then? I guess I'm a hypocrite. I guess I'm a huge narcissist and a hypocrite. But I try to admit it. I get it. I'm not perfect. I'm a piece of shit. I get it. But of course, I'm not the news media. I mean, I'm not the entire establishment. I'm not $1 billion. I'm just some guy. Thankfully, I don't have children, and I won't pass on any of this to anybody. That's my cross to bear. That's my cross to bear. Okay, but I'm not fucking I'm not lying, or at least my lies try to tell the truth. I just saw V for Vendetta again. It was okay. It was okay, but it was kind of. I understand why Alan Moore wants nothing to do with Hollywood or his movies, but also why he took the money. I get both of those things. I get it. You know what I mean? And I think he himself would admit that, whatever, man. I need the money. I'm a piece of shit, whatever. But I don't need to be all like, yeah, this is my work. Put my name all over it. So anyways, you ever see V for Vendetta? V for Vendetta is actually about how the British government faked a virus, an epidemic, and then consolidated power and became like this sort of fascist state or whatever. That's like the backdrop of it, and that's what V is freeing everybody from. It's interesting. Very interesting. And not to say, that's any kind of proof. Like just like Event 201, which Bill Gates ran a simulation of a global pandemic last year and how they would lock down, that's just coincidence. It's all just coincidence. It's fine. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying it's interesting and not far-fetched. Like I said, I think governments, take opportunities. They may or may not manufacture crises, right? They may or may not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But in any case, they do take the opportunity to consolidate power. That's just the nature of power, right? You're always looking for opportunities to consolidate it. So this is why not now? And using fear is the perfect way to drive people to do what you want, to drive behavior that's favorable until it goes haywire. But whatever. I think they can manage. I don't know. I don't know if there's really like some council of elders or I don't really think it's that coordinated. I wished it was. I've said this. I have said this. Is like, I prefer the evil over the incompetence. I prefer evil over incompetence. I just wish we could just admit it. Just tell us we're the empire. Okay, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, all right, well, fine, whatever. Don't tell us we're the good guys. It doesn't make any sense. Then it looks like we're fucking retarded. Are we just retarded good guys? What's going on? Why do we suck so much at this? Okay. Anyways, so we got your pandemic, of course. No need to go on and on about it. You got your election. You got your media collusion. And then, of course, the big meme in the digital financial world is the money printer go brrr, money printer go brrr, just fucking brrr, just, something like almost 40%, over a third of the money supply has been printed this year. So, I'm sure that won't have any effect, right? That won't have any effect at all. And of course, the stocks are at an all-time high. Everything's going up. Bitcoin's going up. Woo! Everything's going up, up. Yeah. Except, of course, for small businesses, mom and pops, right? Except for those mom and pops. Except for the most working people in the service industry who have been relying on unemployment unless they're part of a digital thing, unless they're part of a big box digital, unless you're part of one of the tech companies or one of the giant corporations or whatever, or movie companies, whatever. It's just like whoever has the money to do all this government mandated stuff with the PPE and the testing and the this and the that. Like whoever can actually afford all that is making it right now, right? And everybody else, go fuck yourself. Everybody else is either going to get evicted, put on the street. You're going to be tent people. Tent people. I mean, they're already here. Why wouldn't there just be more of them? I mean, right? Why wouldn't there? Unless there is some concerted effort to eliminate the 10 people. I mean, as we really create like an Elysium type situation, which is really just a time machine, right? Time machine where you have your Morlocks, below all the more, the fucking lower classes who are just making everything, and then you have your fucking elites, right? You have your Elysiums, or I can't remember what they're called in the time machine. What are they called? They were called the LOE. So Elysium, yes, it's a total ripoff. They were called the LOE, they're like fucking elites. They didn't have a care in the world. They had no idea that the Morlocks down below were all fucking, I don't know, like, scrappily. That's not a word. Just, they were dirty. What they thought of the lower classes, and they're all ugly. And there's tons of them. It's just overpopulated. They're all making these goods for them or whatever. Just China and Africa. Okay. I mean, in those days, it was Victorian England, so it'd be white people, okay, dirty white people. But now we would think of it as like the third world nations or whatever, the nations that provide our labor force, which is China and Africa, and, wherever else. And really, in our own country, they took away manufacturing, so that's just the tent people. Morlocks. Those are the down belows. LOE, those are the up highs, okay? And of course, there was always the threat of them coming up, rising up, those guys, but the LOE, of course, had superior technology, better shit. They had more wealth, so they can just keep them at bay. And then in the end, you find out they're related or they're the same or whatever, whatever the fuck. But anyways, that's what's going to happen. I could see that happening in the next coming decade. And then, I don't know. I've been talking about neo-feudalism, right? Neo-feudalism, just the idea of like, imagine there was some kind of crash, not only like an economic crash, but let's just say like a solar flare, just something out of the blue happens and electricity is just knocked out, okay? And then people have to like rebuild. Where do you get your knowledge from? Where does the knowledge? I mean, there used to be libraries. You could probably go to the library, get some knowledge. But what about like, the knowledge to build computers or rebuild the network, rebuild this or where does that? Who holds that knowledge, right? Because whoever does hold that knowledge has something now that is more valuable than currency, right? That in a way that becomes the new currency. So yeah, information in some way. There's a book called The Diamond Age by Neil Stephenson that's about it's like in the near future, and we have nanotech, and because of nanotech, what we can do is just make anything. And when you can make anything, that means wealth no longer becomes stratified based on material objects or material wealth, right? Assets or whatever. It becomes, in this world, it became stratified by knowledge, education. And then these sort of clans or civilization, there's a neo-Victorian civilization, a neo-Confucian civilization you built, basically China and the West or whatever, these sort of like the new classes would stratify based on who had this information, right? So you can imagine if we were to just, our phones become defunct, we don't have internet anymore. Not everybody has internet. It's like the few people who can remember how to get back onto the internet, the few people who can remember how to make computer networks, the few people, those people are going to be the elites. They're going to know it all, so it's going to get more and more concentrated, right? Wealth will be more and more concentrated, and wealth in this case soon becomes information, right? And that becomes even more and more concentrated in very few hands, right? Then you really create the danger of a bottleneck of where it's just like why you don't keep the president and vice president together or whatever when they fly around, just because you can't get a twofer for knocking them down. If you kill everybody who knows all that knowledge is gone. We're back in the Dark Ages, right? We're back in, it's like, just like Roman times, right? Everybody knew how to like build stuff. In Roman times, they had alphabets, they had everything, and then boom, it's gone, right? It's all gone. 1,000 years or something, right? Dark Ages, they call it, right? It was like we didn't even know. We had to learn about Roman stuff through the Arabs. The Arabs were the ones who knew about, all that engineering and all that knowledge. They got it because of the transmission through like Greek or Aramaic or whatever the fuck. But they basically heralded the Renaissance through people in England, or not England, Europe, translating Arabic texts of ancient Roman and Greek writings and like knowledge, whatever. So that's how knowledge was preserved and passed down, and took fucking thousands of years, right? If we get wiped out, it could take more. It could take 1,000 years. It could take another 1,000, just to get back to, I don't know what, the astrolab. I don't know. Or maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe could we get back to this if we got wiped out? Do you think we could get back to this in 1,000 years? I don't know. I mean, I can barely think in terms of days right now, especially with the lockdown. I have no idea what day it is. I have no idea how much time I've been talking. Okay. Has this been a good, this is a terrible 2020 retrospective. I've talked about Parasite. Okay, there's the impeachment, pandemic, the election. What is there to say about the election? I mean, it's still being contested. We don't know. December 6th, who knows what could happen? Maybe nothing. I don't know. Or January 6th. Right? Trump is asking for his followers to descend upon, because that's when the Congress is supposed to certify the votes, and then all these senators now are saying they're not going to do it. There might be rebellion. There could be, who knows what's going to happen? We don't know. Maybe nothing. And it's just back to Biden. It's just like the good old day. We're back. Deep state is back, everybody. Just the way it's supposed to be. Get it back. Enough of this. They're probably going to rethink democracy. I mean, they clearly already have. It seems like, in my view. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay? What I do know is that the media has not been our friend. The media has been the enemy of the people. That's it. Of all the things Trump has said, I feel like he was right about a couple things. One of them was China. China doesn't seem very nice or friendly. I'm not sure we should be like best buddies. Not so certain. We should be so reliant on them. And trust me, I love Chinese people. I think the Chinese people are glorious. The glorious people. Good for you. But come on, let's all be honest now, huh? They're mad about the Boxers' rebellion. We should apologize for the Boxers' rebellion. Maybe we could patch things up. They're really mad at Britain. Okay, get the fucking. They're probably mad about the Korean War. We fought them in the Korean. A lot of bad things went down. Especially before they had nukes. Before China had nukes, we were kicking them around. We were just fucking them. We didn't care. And then they got nukes, and we were like, all right, okay. And so here we are. Media collusion. Media has been lying to us, guys. So for sure. Let me just run down some of the things that I think the media has been lying to us. I think one is that there is no evidence that masks work at all in terms of lowering transmissions or whatever. It's just, I think it's just like a very easy symbolic thing for people to do. I understand in certain contexts, yes, they help reduce transmission. I've gone over this. Okay, like hospital settings make sense. You can always change your mask, sterile mask. It's everybody's. There's really good air filtration, all that stuff. I get it. Okay, but just every day out and about outside, that there's no evidence for that. They've tried. They've done studies, and they could find no statistical significance between the two groups. In fact, a lot of times it was the opposite. For some reason, people with masks, the masking places had more transmission. Could it be because it gave people a false sense of confidence? Possibly. Could it be because of the aerosolizing effect of breathing through a mask? Breathing water vapor through the mask, making the virus more transmissible. And also, when you breathe in, it nebulizes, makes the droplets much smaller, so you could breathe it deeper into your lungs. And that could be causing people to get sick. There's evidence for that in scientific studies, okay? But none of that is being discussed. None of that. Why? Because masks are an easy symbol, an easy way to show compliance. That's what I think. I think they're lying to us about the hospitals being overwhelmed. I'm not saying they're not overwhelmed, but how long have they been telling us that the system's going to crash? Hospitals is going to crash. They're overwhelmed. Meanwhile, you got your nurses doing TikTok dances. You got the TikTok dances going on, right? Meanwhile, they're just testing everybody left and right. They're doing all this stuff that hinders care. And meanwhile, what they're saying is there's a crisis of care. Also, they do the lockdowns. What does the lockdowns do? It actually forces a lot of the hospital staff to stay home because their kids aren't going to school. Okay? That's why they're short-staffed, a lot of these places. Seasonal respiratory diseases come and go, and hospitals frequently do surge. Okay? But hospitals also are mandated to have something like 125% surge capacity, which is not, it's not part of the news. Everything's like, they're like 0%. I saw this news article. It said how can Southern California have 0% ICU capacity when they have 1,300 beds open? And then the article explains, because when they say capacity, they're talking about beds, they're already taking out beds reserved for COVID. And they're, it's just like a funny number they come up with to try to speculate on how much capacity they have in case there's a surge, but it's not reflective of the actual number. Of course, that's not discussed. Why? No. I don't know. The only thing I can think of after watching V for Vendetta is, fear. Fear obviously gets people to do stuff. Fear will distract them from the great reset that seems to be upon us, right? The crushing of small and mid-sized businesses, in favor of large corporations. There you have it. The state sort of asserting power. People basically not seeing their parents or whatever, not seeing their families, not seeing loved ones they may never see next year, possibly, very possible, right? In the name of protecting them, because the state told them, and really not having, it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think it's totally like people are just blindly obedient to the state, though I do feel like the post 9/11 period, all of that, what's been happening in this country for the past 20 years, what with the war, all that stuff I talked about last episode, that has trained us, right? We've all been sort of conditioned to respond to like threat levels, the color codes, government mandates, let's just do this, we're mobilizing for this or that or whatever, the news is telling us, it's all, it's all part of this narrative, right? Including, the market mania, including the crypto exploding, right? You got your crypto exploding. If you invested your 1,200 stimmy in Bitcoin, you probably would have made triple by now, but will that all come crashing down? I don't know. Maybe, possibly. We have no idea. We don't know. I guess that's, again, with the whole cycle thing, right? The cycle of life, the cycle around the world, the cycle, the great wheel turns, right? Everything is ups and downs. Are we approaching a period of collapse, or are we going to just take another jump higher? Maybe in my lifetime, in our lifetime, it's possible we will experience the singularity, right? That's possible, that's a possibility. That's something that, or more of the same. We don't know. Just like the market, right? Could go up, could go down, could also just stay the same for a while. We just don't know. But what we do know is that it's people behind it. It's human beings. We're the ones doing this. So, I don't know. I think, to me, one of the things that's important about this year is that it was the year of the expert, right? It was the year of the expert. And the experts were wrong. They were wrong. They're wrong, yet we still believe them. Why? Why is that? Do we have such low self-esteem in this country that, or across the world, do we all have such low self-esteem that we can't help but to listen to mandates and dictums? Is it human nature? Perhaps are we truly divided as sheep and wolves? Are we really? Is that really what it is? Are we just? Do we look? Maybe it is. We are social creatures. Maybe evolutionarily, it made sense for us to respond to authority and everybody be organized and do the right thing. It all makes sense. But evolution, of course, is not logical. Evolution, it just does what it does in order to survive, and whatever makes it does, and you keep doing it, and then at some point it's not going to help it, and so it's got to change, right? And maybe that's what's coming. Maybe it's the time for change, right? Maybe all the things we've been doing, it's not quite working. Something's not quite working. We don't have our finger on it. Could it be the perpetual warfare state? Could it be the perpetual printing of money? Could it be the complete disregard for the letter of the law, like what the law is, really due to the hypocrisy of the state? I like to point to prohibition, right? Prohibition is one of the times when we realize, the state is hypocritical. You got these cops telling us not to drink, and they're drinking. You got Congress telling us not to insider trade. They insider trade. You got the state says don't kill people, and then they kill people, right? Don't steal, they steal. Like, they do the opposite of everything they tell us to do. Most people end up just suffering, Most people who just want to get by, just whatever, they end up having less and less. And soon we'll own nothing, they say. They say we'll own nothing and we'll be happy. Will we? Will be happy as Morlocks or as Eloi? Huh? Eloi? I don't know. Maybe it's Eloi. I think Eloi sounds familiar. Anyways, I want to do comedy for both, of course. Like I said, I want to do comedy for Morlock. I feel like, what about these faggy Eloi or whatever? And then, at the Eloi, you don't use words like that around. It's very frowned upon. You just be like, I saw a Morlock the other day. Blah, blah, blah. It's a little more of the upper class twit. I was like, hello, Mr. Locke, or whatever. Whatever it is that Mr. Moore, first name Moore, last name Locke, is it? They might like stuff like that. I have no idea. It's going to be a whole new world. New marketing, new marketing push. I don't know. The generous donation from Han Kim, again, is perhaps going to a rebrand. I've already spent all the money on hiring a branding consultant. So it's a rebrand, possible rebrand time, either for the Rojan Kim cast, either for me, Rojan Kim, or perhaps something else. I have some things cooking about. I want to get back to making videos. Whatever. Look, talk is talk, right? And that's what a podcast is. Just talk, right? Is that all you got? Just talk, huh? Anyways, 2020, year of the expert, year of the heralding of neo-feudalism. I feel like is another theme. Another thing I'm coming out of 2020 with is the tyranny of breeders. This is a real tyranny of breeders. Maybe I'll get into it more. Next time. If there is a next time. There's a next time. I gotta keep it. I have to, because of the generous donation of Han Kim. Thank you very much for your donation. I'm thinking, listen, I got like 20 people or something. It's more than that. I swear to God, it's more. But it's around, but a solid 20 people listen to this. If you each gave me $1, that could do something. But I don't know. Am I too proud? Ain't too proud to beg. Maybe I am. I don't know. Or maybe you should give me Bitcoin. Give me Bitcoin, crypto. Maybe I should open up my crypto. I don't know. That's part of the rebrand strategy. That's part of all of this. You got to rethink a lot of stuff. How to create content, like a destination, right? It's whatever. I don't want to bore you with these details. I'd rather share the content, make the stuff. So that's coming. So 2021, I don't know. Is there a collapse coming? I don't know. What's going to happen? I don't know. We don't know. This thing could happen now, could happen 10 years from now. It could never happen. Things we have no idea. So I know that, you can only take care of your own, right? You can only take care of the people around you. You can only sort of do what you can. You can't save the whole world. You can't really save people. You can't save anybody, okay? You can save yourself. And through that, be an example to others, and perhaps they can save themselves. And then together we can save things. We'll see. I am, of course, optimistic. I'm an eternal optimist. I've decided I'm going to try to be more optimistic up front. Instead of it being something that people discover about me, perhaps I'll just, be like, listen, they're probably going to come up with some form of new energy that's going to, yes, possibly be very catastrophic, but at the same time, possibly be just a new, it's like a new renaissance. The fourth industrial revolution that they're talking about. Maybe it won't be bad, okay? Maybe the Great Reset will be awesome. It's very possible that you might become one of the Eloi, okay? You're not just the numbers, sure. Do the numbers say that you are most likely going to be a Morlock? Yeah, yes. I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, okay? There will be more Morlocks than Eloi. But you're in a pretty good position to be one of them. Okay, you know some technical things. You got some technical knowledge. You got, especially you're Asian. People think you know all this stuff innately. Just use it. Use it to your advantage. Okay? People will believe that you are immune to the coronavirus and that you just speak binary code. And so you got to use that to your advantage. Get in there. Knock up a Eloy. Knock one up. Not have a baby, half Asian baby with an Eloy, and then you're in. Hopefully. I mean, nothing is guaranteed, but that's not a bad strategy. You can make it. So how's that? That's an optimistic. Children, be fruitful and multiply. Have children, beautiful half Eloy, half Morlock children. And isn't that what life is all about? Isn't that sort of what might have happened with Homo sapiens and Neanderthals? Maybe they fought each other for hundreds of thousands of years and then just started fucking, and they're like, you know what, we'll just do this. I don't know. I feel like, cycles. We're all going through cycles, like women and their periods. Am I right, fellas? But, going through cycles. So I feel like we've been, going through, there's major disruptive cycles. Perhaps there's more to come, but I think after that, there's always growth, right? Plentiful good stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to download our consciousnesses into some kind of floating computer, and then we can all be part of a simulation where everything's fine. See? I mean, maybe that's what this is. And if that's the case, then it doesn't matter. Then everything's great, right? Otherwise, we will build a simulation, and we'll all go in there. So everything's going to be great, okay? So that's my vision of hope. That's my message of hope to you, my fellow glorious listeners. Wait, you're not a fellow listener. I'm not listening to this. You are. I'm saying this. But anyways, I don't know. Here's a little tip for you if you're thinking about playing some market stuff. Play volatility. There's something called the VIX. If you look it up in Robinhood, look it up. That shit's going to go way up but it might also come crashing down after the inauguration. So I would just say that, or possibly even skyrocket even higher, as if you believe that this shit's going to be wobbly and unstable, that's one place you might want to look into putting your money. Otherwise, look into safe, I don't know, Bitcoin is possibly safe. Gold, possibly. I mean, all these things could come crashing down, but then everything can come crashing down, right? So, I don't know. Don't take financial advice from me. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just got a huge donation, and I lost it all in blackjack. So that's I'm kidding. Wouldn't it be great if I was a degenerate gambler? What if that was? Oh, that'd be so much. I'd be more interesting. I feel like I'd be more into the action and the juice of things. And even if I try to hide it, I think it would just be obvious that I was like, why is he always trying to bet on which car is going to turn right or left? Like, why is he always betting on stuff? I could see what's great about that. I do have an addictive personality, but I don't. That's why I stopped trying to day trade and stopped doing all that. Cause it's just like being, it's a video game, man. Life is just a game, man. All right. So anyways, Happy New Year. 2020 is coming to a close. Will I push another one of these fuckers out by tomorrow? I mean, maybe I might, but anyways, I think there is great stuff in store for this next coming year. I have a lot of hope. I have some trepidations, but I also have a lot of hope that good stuff will come out of it, and that overall things tend toward the good. I mean, look, listen. In fucking 1930s, people were sig heiling, and now people hold up their phones. Okay, so fucking technology, things. We're in a better time. You know what? You know why we shake hands? Because a long time ago we used to stab each other. Okay, now we don't do that. So I have hope. Anyways, thank you very much for listening. I may be not. One of the things I may not do for the next month as a resolution is social media, but follow me anyway. Twitter and Instagram. Follow me. I don't know how I will. Well, I'm going to be working on some stuff. So I'm going to be working on the battle plan for the stuff, and then I have to work on said stuff. So that is, that's probably what I'll be doing, hopefully, instead of bunch of social media, and then I'll have something to promote on social media, which will be that stuff. Anyways, thank you very much for listening. You know where to find me, all over the place. Follow me everywhere. Thank you. Road to Good.